Yeah, I think
we also always have
also
that Ice
go
Palace
ahead.
possibility of, is the Fire Rod hanging out in Ice Palace, and do we need Bombos to get in there?
Yeah, that's true. With that plus with Eastern Dark World access possibly being blocked behind the mitts or behind Ega rather than the hammer. I think it's really likely that Ega is going to be required. You know, with mitts access, it's not the worst thing in the world to do it, even if it's not required. Because that extra portal can save you a lot of running around the world.
Mm-hmm. And interestingly enough, McMonkey did opt to check only the Hobo area and not go up and do Zora and the Waterfall Fairy.
Yeah, maybe hoping to route in Catfish with it now that he has Dark World access. Not sure. Also opting to check King's Tomb without Graveyard Lich.
Yeah, I don't necessarily hate that too much. being able
No.
to pop over to Graveyard Ledge while you're doing a bumper ledge check. Quick and easy enough after a Skullwoods, if you even need that. And also, hello, chat. I think you can hear us now, based on what you're saying. Hello. So, McMonkey is going to be first into the Dark World. Hopefully gives us a quick map check here, and we got one. So, Skullwoods and Mire are other pendants, and then 5/6s are Ice and Pod. So, TR very much in play for the potential of that Bombos medallion in a crystal format.
Mystik not realizing that going into that Rupee Cave loses you your Water Walk. So you have to go into Ice Ride Cave last.
It's what, moving left or right in any cave cancels that out immediately?
Yep.
So Mystik is going to give us the rest of the sequence break. And I don't believe they went over to Hobo, so we're seeing them diverge and... Oh, never mind.
I think that's the end of that.
Yeah,
That's
I think that
I would bail.
Yeah, I would not want to go and give that another whirl. Likely see the same go into the Dark World here. Might do the King's Tomb piece. Nope, going left. Gonna ignore King's Tomb for now, probably loop that in with the Graveyard Ledge check.
As our wonderful tracker is to be trusted. We had a map check. Skullwoods and Mire are our pendants.
And where we have the
confirmed.
And where we have the ever so omnipresent Dark Diplomat here giving us the button presses. I trust every button press he makes.
Absolutely.
For those who are unaware, during League Season 2, Dark Diplomat did close to like 100 races, and I don't think I'm exaggerating at all on the tracking thing. So he's been very good. 83 is his number. Okay. That's close to 100. We can round that up.
Front of Skullwoods check from Mystik. Doing the right chest. I tend to do the middle first, regardless of what I'm checking in Skullwoods. Just to increase the likelihood that I'll get a key or know whether dropping down would be safe.
Yeah, I like middle, and if I don't get an item out of the chest, often I'll go all the way to the left and grab that key and just let the hand bring me back, just to ensure that I'm not going to trap myself if I have to drop in.
Yeah, if you don't get a key in either that right chest or this middle chest, you're guaranteed to get a key by dropping in, and it can still be more convenient for whatever reason to just steal the key and so that you don't have to drop in at all and can get out the same way you got in. But interestingly, Mystik is going to drop in anyway. Key.
I do like Mystik was about a half heart sitting there in the back of that middle room, making good use of the knowledge of the fact that there is that bunny beam under the skull at the north end of that room, has his powder, decided to just go ahead and get himself full health before coming in here. The fact that they're still hanging out on Greenmill and in the Dark World, not a bad move.
Cane of Samaria on McMonkey's side, Attic of Thieves Town. Now he is in Thieves Town without the pointer. They didn't count the items in front, but this is a risk, but I don't think he'll be too unhappy with however it turns out after getting Samaria in the attic. Now, it's not hammerlocked because he did find that small key, but
yeah, and finding Samaria when you only have 4 items in the dungeon, the likelihood that you're going to get another, really important one is low. But you've certainly seen your fair share of stacked dungeons and all these different restreams we've had happen here. So
there's another item.
Now, I doubt we get a map just because of the fact that they're on quick swap. So I'm not certain if he got the map and compass and knows there's an item, or didn't get one or the other, and in that case is 50-50 here and hoping for the best, or just knows comfortably that he's good to go.
yeah, without the hammer, he can't get whatever it is. So he doesn't have much choice about going to this. But
you just hate to have to leave an item when you know it's an item.
yeah, it's very doubtful that there were 4 items in it. So
Mystik giving us the graveyard ledge check. We know that Monkey's not missing out on anything there now with that piece of heart, as he picks up his own piece of heart off the blind. So, unless we saw 4 non-dungeon items in the front, I think it's safe to say that he may have a map or compass in the big chest.
yeah, we'll have to check. I imagine that Mystik will, at the very least, do the first 4 checks. Though it is notable that McMonkey did the back with because he would have known that there were at least 3 items in back and still decided to just clear it then and there. Logically, the attic and big chest are equivalent as far as the game logic. So if whatever's in the big chest had been swapped with the McCain, he could have been in quite some trouble.
I do want to give a quick shout out to our restreamer here, Days Cloud. We had a bit of an issue here with getting this thing set up. He stepped up immediately. It was supposed to be Days Cloud and I both ragging on our own teammates here in the comm booth. He stepped up to do the restream when we realized that we were in danger of losing it. And then Vortex was kind enough to pop in and jump into the comms with me here as well. So I'm the only one doing the thing I thought I was going to be doing tonight. Well, Dark too, but he's always behind the buttons, so you know how that goes. So big thank you both to Days Cloud and to you, Vortex, for hopping into unexpected roles and trying to get this thing running with us.
Yeah, it's been my pleasure. I was excited to watch this race, even more excited to comment on it.
So we're seeing Mystik cleaning up the village, which we've already seen not too much of note out of on McMonkey's side. Blue Mail's always nice. See Smith check here, losing money by turning in the Smith.
Gonna drag that purple chest on a long trek before he can start running again. Not opting to check Powden. With no flute, with flute I tend to check Powder if I have Mitts and Mirror. Just, this hammer can be there, but
certainly can.
You have to run all the way back to the portal, or walk if you want to take that purple chest with you. It's really not worth the time a lot of the time.
No, and just the fact that they have the book, they have the access to Bombo's tablet with the mirror. He's probably thinking, let me get the full south area done, worry about going over and doing the bat later if necessary. Of course, getting both powder and book early, either one could lead to what we want, and this is definitely one of those. Hopefully he's making the right choices. He is representing my team here, so McMonkey, don't make the wrong choice, please. Yeah, Days, just quickly grab a duct tape image and just put a 3 on it and paint or something and just slap that over the weak sign and we're good to go.
Total of 25 rupees on the Smith chain.
Yep.
And Mystik is going for the magic bat check. It's, if it's hammer, he loses no time at all, so.
If it's any other important piece of progression and Bombo's tablet here turns out to be nothing, he's definitely pulling an edge here relatively quickly. As both of them get red 20s for their troubles there. So, Smith chain literally only paying out. So, McMonkey looking like he's going to opt over to Hype Cave. Looking like Mystik is going to go back into the Dark World, likely to do the Smith chain down to Hype Cave, as, again, only having Mitts, this is our only access. No real reason not to go ahead and do this.
Unless, Unless that mushroom is something, I think Hype Cape has to have our next progression, because we've seen everything that's in logic.
I don't know how you feel about hearts and rupees, but I don't feel like they're progression.
At all. Oh, I guess we haven't seen Zora yet.
This is
And
true. And Zora
at this
is in
point,
logic. We have the glove.
I'm guessing we're going to see that lamp next. Maybe flute.
Gotta be lamp, flute, or possibly hammer, getting us into
Yep.
pod to get us one of those other two.
Those are the only three things that are going to do us any good right now. And Mystik making a choice that I really like here, waiting to go into Thieves Town until he's turned in that smith and check the magic bat so that he can, just go into Thieves Town and then just grab the purple chest. Loses a little bit of time, but it's, if you're planning on going to Thieves Town, it's a free check on the way. Opting out of doing the back.
Yeah, saw a map and a small key in those last two chests. Big key had to be in one of the first two. So we're definitely looking at 3 items in the back. Might just be deciding I'm not risking not having the hammer for it. And where McMonkey might be literally leaving an item sitting there.
Zora has our progression. And I bet McMonkey's kind of wishing he'd done that water walk right now. I guess from his perspective, it could be Magic Bat, but... Oh, we have not seen Saha's Closet or Eastern, actually.
No, we have not. So that looks like that's where he's headed next. So hopefully Saha's going to drop us something that allows us to get into Eastern and clear that out and not have to worry about it, because, why come over here twice?
But of course.
And Saha showing that he likes explosives. I'm not concerned at all.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to McMonkey farmed all the money for Zora and then decided not to do the fake flipper. Now he's stuck between out of logic flipper checks or Bovis Eastern.
And meanwhile, Mystik dropped the purple chest during the transition over from the K45, so is now making the return trip to purple chest. Now, having done Stumpy in K45, though, has the option, if they want to abandon the Bobo tablet, to just go ahead, save and quit, and run down to 7 from Link's house. But I don't know if they feel like doing that.
Speaking of out of logic flipper checks, if McMonkey here, I'd probably check the next chest and call it good for Eastern for right now.
Yeah, if you're not going to get your lamp out of the front of Eastern at this point, when you only have Zora left, well, Zora and the bat, which you're making that conscious decision with the bat to leave behind, it does feel rough to go all the way through. Same time, though, do you really want to come back to have to do the left side if you have to, or just go through and get what you can?
Well, I mean, he has to do the left side regardless. Getting the flippers out of that first chest, that puts far more checks in logic than he's going to get out of Eastern. Though getting the map in the first, in the second chest, sort of, you were going to open that one anyway. Yeah, I don't know. I always like bailing if I get something early in Eastern, if I'm dipping without the bow.
Yeah, where he's already gone left side and he's going to hit the big chest here. Wouldn't surprise me to see him just go and do the right side. No, I always call the dark on the left side just because of the way you run across to get there after going for a worry. But I like the fact that he's going to do this just so when he comes back with the bow, or, this could also just be a landlocked bow in this chest.
It could.
But if it's not, and let's face it, it's likely not, He at least doesn't have to worry about coming back in and doing anything but boss rushing when he comes back, likely after going through Pod, as hopefully when he gets back he'll have the hammer and be able to pair the two as opposed to having to come back here and then back again for Pod.
Yeah, notably, while McMonkey does have a couple orphans, from his perspective, oh, there's the shovel.
So
Just what McMonkey wanted to see.
So progression still points to Zora, but out of logic progression could absolutely be hiding behind that shovel.
I think if I'm McMonkey, I check that right away because he's cleared everything else out. There's no reason to come back.
Yeah. Check that and flop over and grab your flipper checks, get your real progression, and then see where you go from there. And Mystik making that same fake flipper play into the whirlpool over the mushroom spot there. I like that because it's easily the quickest way to go ahead and check the mushroom. Just some arrows on the shovel, so now we'll see, is McMonkey going to go ahead and give us the real flippers now, or is he going to give us an attempt at sequence breaking the mountain? The sanctuary start tells me he might be going on the mountain. Unless Magic Bat's winning.
Yeah, I think he's gonna route in Catfish with Zora. With the real flippers, it's and also I think he'll clean up Graveyard Ledge here.
Yeah, for him he hasn't seen
consequence of that. A consequence of that orphan he left earlier, but
and likely we'll check.
He also did not check Front of Skull Woods or Bumper Ledge like Mystik did.
So cleaning up each other's spots here.
Yeah, so while we're retreading each other's already trodden ground, why don't you guys give our runners a follow? They've been doggedly pursuing this progression, and yeah, putting on a great race so far.
So Monkey's going to see his key here, bail out, go back to the front. Mystik's going to do the exact same stuff in Eastern, likely, that McMonkey did. Probably even going to just go and check that shovel immediately. I think they're more likely to hit the flipper spots quicker once they get them, just because of that death right outside of having the waterfall fairy. And that flash at the chest there just to say, thanks, game.
I think the only reason to follow the shovel immediately is because you've already orphaned it so thoroughly, it will never ever be faster than it is at any time. So you just clean it up right then and there, even though it's out of logic.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, especially we have a cone on McMonkey's side. Let's hope that that's nothing too big. And to answer a question in chat, the cane was in the attic chest in Thieves Town. So we have a little bit of technical difficulty hanging out on McMonkey's side. We're still seeing Mystik running through and doing the thing in Eastern. Will be interesting to see once they finish this. Do they flipper or do they decide a sequence break is more important based on the number of checks? And McMonkey is back.
He too has seen that Bumper Ledge is nothing of value. We'll be seeing Graveyard Ledge, Fish, and Zora. And this is kind of nice for him too, because with Hobo already taken care of, there's not really any incentive for him to stay in the light world to do the Zora checks or route it awkwardly as a result.
Yeah, and I'm a huge fan of when you're going to do a water walk, if you're not going to commit to the full piece, just grabbing the Hobo first instead, just because it's the most out of the way of the water checks. And if it has the progression, great. If not, you're going to find it once you get the flippers anyway, or in Zora's unique instance, flippers or glove. So I like the fact that he did that and is now able to take his North Dark World into Zora and finally give us an idea of where the seed wants us to go. As Mystik gets their shovel, saves and quits, and is likely going to start at Link's house and make the choice of either flippers or check the shovel. Or
additionally, Mystik has not been leaving any loose ends the entire seed so far. A lot of runners will be extremely thorough while they don't have the hammer. You know, even if it's a slight logic break or something, they will clear until they have the hammer and not leave anything behind. Well, if McMonkey hadn't already farmed for Zora money, he would have it now.
And now we're finally going to see what Mystik died trying to get. So we have a ledge and a Zora left, and that's really where our logic is. It looks as though...
Well, anything in the Dark World on this side is now in logic with those flippers as well. The pyramid ledge
you're right.
And the front of pod.
I keep forgetting they have flippers. They're in the water, and I'm forgetting they have flippers. It's a good night.
All right. So it is pyramid or pod as our progression.
And Monkey's gonna go ahead and just rush down and... Not sure what why is he going through the water?
He's getting back to his Dark World portal so he can stay on this side of the side of the river.
I myself would have probably muscle memory saved and quit and been like, oh damn. This is why we picked McMonkey and CJ for this week and not me.
Yeah, I'm benched this week too. McMonkey, I saw in chat somebody referring to him as one of the most promising up-and-coming Zelda players, and I cannot disagree with that. McMonkey has been grinding a ton, running a lot of NMG, participated in the Go Mode Podcast Mentor Tournament this spring, early summer, and has been playing lights out lately.
Yeah, that's the beauty of the Mentor Tournament to me, is both last year's and this year's with regards to League, giving us a ton of new teams. I know both of our teams included are on the list for, Go Mode Podcast, giving us that initial foray into that competitive aspect of this where we decided, hey, we'll make some teams and see what we can do.
Yeah, and meanwhile, McMonkey picking up what could very well be our progression, a bottle on Pyramid Ledge. Since I do not believe he knows how to mimic clip, I think he'll be very happy to see that going into pod.
Oh, for sure. That would be some good progression, though.
Certainly would.
Even progression here in pod, with the fact that they're expecting to be flippering over to do it, to me is still a little rude.
Agreed.
And so Mystik's not overly worried about the item, as they did go back into Thieves. Now I really want a map check, because I missed the first two chests and Thieves from both runners, and I'm not certain if they found the compass.
Same.
Mystik, press the start button. Forget you have quick swap. Preferably for the rest of the race. I mean, what?
We are not immediately bow locked, not a big surprise since we are down to nearly our last location and we do not have the bow.
Mystik popping slightly off script with blind fight. Blue Cane makes that trivial. Gonna get their piece of heart, end out that area, and get their crystal as well.
There's our hammer.
So hammer in pod. You love to see it. Now can we get a bow so we can get finished?
he won't be finding one immediately, but I don't think that'll stop him from checking these two chests out. A potion camera unlocked.
Now, do you have to have the wall opened before you do the camera piece, or is that just a matter of preference?
You don't have to, but it makes it easier to mess up if you don't. You're more likely to get a rightward input if you don't already have it bombed open or bonked open.
Right, so we got keys on the Bullock side, which gives us access basically to the rest of it. We know that there can be the second bow back here, which would be beautiful. And looks like Monkey's going to give us that pog clip. I do love that tech. It's just so fun to see. And Mystik getting their payoff from the catfish. Now going to see that their death was not terribly consequential with what was available to us here in both Waterfall Fairy and Zora, and likely going to be following Monkey into Pod as they are funneled.
Interestingly, I think the whole back of Pod is bow-locked. There were two keys. The only keys that they could access were through that potion camera. There's one key in the big key chest. But yeah, to get anywhere in the back of Pod, you had to have a bow.
Yep.
Logically.
Yeah, so if we find a bow here, it's intended to be our silvers. Mystik seeing that heart, deciding to grab it. Why not? Heart piece, maybe not. Full heart, go for it. Making the same decision that Monkey did to go ahead and go down to that Dark World portal. Make that run to Pod a little bit easier.
So interestingly, if we find progression in Pod, we know there's a bow in Hammer Pegs or Front of Swamp, I think. Because that's all the hammer opens up for us right now.
Yeah. So something has to be there. One of those two. And I'm starting to think it's going to be a flute or a lamp that's going to give us that entirety of East Death Mountain to go check out.
Yeah,
if we're going to say that linear, that's going to make for a really boring seed.
Yeah, so if I were one of these runners, I would look for that mountain access immediately. Maybe I'll check Hammer Picks. But I'll just go up the mountain, see if I find, that hook shot to actually clear swamp, or maybe lamp is our logical mountain access on flute, and I can combo an activation with hammer pegs to actually get back in logic. But maybe he'll check hammer pegs and say kid here. Because that is in logic.
And he also did leave behind the magic bat, so that might be something he decides he wants to clean up. And looks like
no, not yet.
And Amarth appears to have gone back. Dark Diplomat did initially state that he believed that we did have a compass in the big chest. Amarth went back, looked at the Thieves' Town chest, gave us the order of things. There is indeed a compass there, so Thieves' Town is dead.
Yeah, both runners eventually did gamble on Thieves' Town. It makes sense because Hammer could be anywhere in Thieves' Town because we did have a small key. Since Mystik needed to come back to that portal anyway to go to the Eastern Dark World, and Thieves' Town is such a common clear without the Hammer. You do start feeling that pressure at your second village trip to... Well, my opponent probably did it, so I should probably do it too. Luckily, both runners get everything out of Thieves' Town, even with 3 items in the back.
Absolutely. I know that if I'm sitting there in Thieves Town and the big chest has a potential item, it's going to sit and haunt me for the whole time, knowing that likely, especially in a seed like this, where all the progression just seems to be on a straight line. My opponent did the same thing, but are they going back before I do? Do I have to go back? Should I go back? You never want to have those questions as you leave a chest behind, especially one as time-consuming to get to as that big chest in Thieves Town.
Early Mountain not paying off. First couple checks, but McMonkey going back for a single heart. You know, far be it from me to criticize caution, but probably didn't need it.
No, but this is your access to East Death Mountain anyway, and you have to. Ooh, we have a flute on Ether tablet.
Okay, so lamp is in. If you don't find lamp in hammer pegs or the first couple of chests of swamp, it's left side and it can stay there for all our runners' care. I'm
Absolutely.
Unless fire rod is lamp blocked, which would be incredibly rude.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't mind the heart pickup though. Is you have to put your portal down somewhere on that mountain to get to Hera. So why not just grab the item while you're on it?
I meant that he slashed a bush and picked up a heart.
Oh, okay. I thought you
was
were
in the
heart
dark
pickup. No. Yeah. I suppose when you have 11 hearts going back to pick up one, a little strange.
But yeah, McMonkey, just checking the first couple of Tower of Hera. Green Pendant Hera is honestly pretty enticing to me if you have that big key. I think we'll likely see him check out all of Eastern Death Mountain, Light and Dark, and then probably head back in there before doing Spike Cave, if I had to guess.
Yeah, it's not a bad check to do at the end of this chain, as potentially, just based on the sheer quantity of items. The likelihood is not there, but the quantity of items means that you could hit go mode on East Death Mountain right now. So,
yeah,
Hera itself, putting that at the end, completely reasonable and justifiable.
Well, and maybe you find enough to say, I'll come back for Hera and Spike Cave because if we find Fire Rod or, a bow. So bow puts Eastern and Pod in logic. It'll be interesting to see if we check out Sick Kid and Hammer Pegs to see if we find that lamp before heading back there. Interestingly, because we found that flute, and lamp is what is logically available right now. That does put that Bombos on Lumberjack back into play.
It certainly does, and momentarily I believe we are going to see what we need for Turtle Rock on McMonkey's side to know that Bombos is or is not hard required, and then we'll just have to question whether or not Myers required and has that be its pendant at that point. Or medallion. But Paradox Cave is not really giving us too much of excitement there. Hopefully we don't see Bombos here on Turtle Rock, because I would rather see both these runners not have to deal with Aghanim today.
All right, so this is an Agaseed, everyone. So I expect I expect the order of business will be to go turn in Sick Kid, Magic Bat for McMonkey, do Hammer Pegs, and then probably look for that hook shot so we can at least combine Swamp with getting that lamp, because I don't think either of our runners really want to do Dark Aga. Though Mystik might be making me eat my words. Maybe forgetting that it's casual boots and not open, which is something I have definitely done before. You get this far into a seed and it's like, oh, I haven't checked front of escape yet.
You get this far into a seed that sits this linearly, yeah. And McMonkey's going to give us an attempt at a hover here for Hookshot Cave. I know he's been practicing this a bit, is relatively proficient with it, but hover being one of those tricks where proficiency doesn't matter too much in the sense of if you're on, you're on, and if you're off, it doesn't matter. Giving it one try and bailing. I don't blame him.
Yeah, well, from his perspective, he knows that skipping out on Hera, making a liar out of me. Can't blame him too much. But with that, Cane of Burna knows that this isn't logic.
Yep. And with no hookshot, probably thinking if there's a fire locked item, Hera's not as quick as it could be because no hookshot. Do I really want to risk that? I do like the idea of doing it anyway, just for that green pendant, if you're able to get up there. But
especially because one of your next stops is definitely going to be finishing off Pod Eastern.
Oh, absolutely. You have to go back anyway.
We did get the big key up front, so you're losing 10 seconds versus Herapot on a Hera clear. Mm-hmm. Skipping the basement, obviously, because I think even with a fire source, both our runners probably skip Hera basement.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all. So it'd be interesting to see, though, if Mystik does make that same gamble on Hera, or if they decide to get that green pendant. Based solely on how thorough they've been, would not shock me to see them with a green pendant when they come off this mountain.
Again, though, with how thorough they've been, they might feel the need to start making some skips.
That's fair, too. So McMonkey activating the flute, hitting the dark world, gonna probably give us that magic bat hammer pegs check. And
did you check Sick Kid before?
I didn't see him do so, but I was more watching what Mystik was going to do over there on the mountain. So Mystik giving us the early spike cave, likely to. Oh no, they're just gonna grab some hearts and probably sword speed out of there. We got the hammer dash on the right and an attempt at a sword speed on the left. Gets the speed and off they go with that burner.
Okay, so Sick Kid or Front of Swamp has our Sick Kid or Front of Swamp has our lamp. Unless we've seen Sick Kid and I missed it.
I don't feel like we did.
I think we would have been set straight.
Yeah, and it wouldn't surprise me if he goes Dark World, comes here, does this, goes over, hits Sick Kid, pops out, flutes away. Now, I would love to see Monkey go and check the mire area just so we can get an idea of what the medallion needed there is, but he knows that that's not logically needed right now, so I doubt we're going to see it.
I wouldn't. Yeah, it's not in logic. We still can't clear our crystal desert because no fire source. I don't think McMonkey goes there without the lamp at the very least.
Not at all. And
okay, so Front of Swamp has our lamp. Do we? I think we check, poke around desert and mire for maybe the hook shot first because that'd be really nice. Or the fire rod to maybe sequence break it out of desert or out of ice or
literally anything to avoid having to go in to potentially have to double dip Swamp Palace because that never feels good. So Miner Shed not paying off for us here. And we are Ether on Mire. So at this point, neither of our runners wants to see Ether for the rest of the game. They want it to be hanging out in Ganis Tower.
Yeah, we know where our required medallion for Turtle Rock is, which, as much as it sucks to have to do Ega, you have to do it, and it's pretty clear. And there's our fire rod. So that is probably the break we'll need. I think McMonkey will do just about everything in his power to avoid double dipping Swamp at this point, up to and including possibly Dark Aga with that Fire Rod and Half Magic.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me at all to see him do the Dark Aga with the Fire Rod, just because he certainly has the capability to do it. Whether he has the desire, though, we shall see.
Now, if McMonkey's keeping track of logic, which I assume he is, if he goes into, say he finds the hookshot, knows where Lamp is, goes into Swamp, and the first 2 chests don't have Lamp, do you think he continues and does left side? Knowing that the lamp's there.
I don't, because at that point, why?
Yeah, I'm saying if he hasn't done Aga yet and finds hookshot before he is forced into doing Aga for it.
Hookshot first. Yeah, I think he clears all of Swamp before he does Aga. But if he doesn't have hookshot, no.
Because right now we are hookshot from go. Because once we, do Aga and get that Bombos, we can clear Turtle Rock. So I guess my question was mostly, if he finds hookshot and knows Lamp is left side, do you think he grabs it for Aga?
Nope.
And yeah, I would be inclined to say no, because I doubt you lose 2 minutes doing Dark Aga.
No, especially when you have a Fire Rod and Half Magic. Mystik also gave us 1 hover attempt and was out of Hookshot Cave, so we're going to have to wait to get the Hookshot to see if they ever decide to go back for those items, which they likely will not, as Gold Sword and every other required item, I don't think they're going to hunt for silvers.
Yeah, Fire Rod was literally the only thing that could have possibly been in Hookshot Cave, and now that we see it, that we've seen it, our runners are going to be pretty happy that they didn't waste more time covering Hookshot Cave.
And I don't believe we saw Mystik go into Hera at all in that dip there.
No, I don't think we did. So if Hookshot's sitting in Hera, it'll be a while before either runner finds it.
Now, Mystik go ahead, activating their flute. Now the question of the day is, do they go ahead and make the same attempts that McMonkey did? Or Dave's mentioning in chat here that they taught Mystik Dark Aga, so maybe they'll just pop right to 4 and head on up?
Yeah, I think Mystik will definitely check out Sick Kid, and then I imagine we'll see a flute to 6. We got 1 item each left, I believe, in Pod and Eastern. So McMonkey, hoping one of those is the hookshot. I think he'd rather do these dark rooms than Aga.
Oh, for sure.
Then I think we'll probably see Ice. I probably would have gone straight to Ice. Find out if it's hookshot locked. So I guess if we find the hookshot on Pod or Eastern bosses, it doesn't really matter if Ice is hook locked. So I think, yeah, it does make sense to do the dungeon that you know exactly what you have to do in.
Yeah, you have 2 go mode dungeons essentially because you've gone through them already. You're potentially going to get the item you want to be able to go mode the other one. This makes sense. And Mystik also making the same hammer peg cleanup. And we'll see, do they go ahead and find that Fire Rod, or are they going to chase down Aga and Bombos and hope for the best with going to Turtle Rock?
Yeah, Mystik is not very far behind, notably because McMonkey skipped on Desert entirely early. Wow, looks like Mystik is going straight for Dark Aga. No Fire Rod, no nothing.
So this regardless of how well Mystik does, this will be a little bit of a time save for McMonkey, just based off having the fire rod.
I mean, hopefully, that you can miss your fire rod shots, you can run out of magic, even runners of McMonkey's caliber.
I have confidence in McMonkey.
From Mystik's point of view, this makes a certain amount of sense. Like Lamp is guaranteed to be in front of Swamp at this point. Fire Rod is very often locked behind Bombos.
Yep.
And without the incentive to, take a look at Crystal Desert that McMonkey had, Mystik doesn't have a lot of reason to check out Checkerboard right now.
No, because their hope in checking Checkerboard is that it's going to be Fire Rod or Hookshot, so that they can go into Swamp and get their Lamp, or go to Desert and clear Crystal. McMonkey getting just the fact, as you said, McMonkey hadn't done Desert, that was enough incentive for him to get over there. It's not the one check of Checkerboard, but the two couple in there.
There's also a Meyer Shed for Mystik, but 3 checks versus, all of ice, and then opening TR, and you have to do it.
McMonkey making quick work here of Helma, as we're seeing boomerangs in the dark over there on Mystik's side. I wish I could give some kind of explanation as to what might be going on over there, but Dark Aga scares me, so no.
We're still in the maze. Going for that second key.
McMonkey, I think, just wanted to make sure he didn't leave an item in the foyer of Pod there before mirroring over to get to Eastern. I think he may have mirrored a little too close to the door and might get sucked back into the Dark World. Let's hope not.
Yeah, and that was a time sink that Mystik could not very well afford. Just a little behind by virtue of the thoroughness early, losing a little efficiency over the trip to Graveyard Legend King's Tomb, and then the extra trip to Catfish, and little things like that are really interestingly. Mystik is going straight for Swamp.
Going for that Lamp, wants that Bombos, might be thinking of that ice holding fire concept.
And if, as our tracker says, Hookshot is in Swamp, this could actually be a huge play. Because once you get that Lamp, everything's in logic. You do Pod and Eastern with your Lamp. You head to Desert, check out Checkerboard, and you get your Flicker Rod in Blue Mode. Whereas McMonkey will last locate a Hookshot in Swamp at this rate.
Yeah. His Hookshot could very well be in Turtle Rock. He's going to have Bombos to go there once he finishes Aga with the Fire Rod, potentially. If he does go to Swamp, I'll be surprised at this point, especially where he's giving us Eastern and Pod this quickly.
And I guess if Lamp had been in that first chest, like this, honestly, just going in for the Lamp isn't the worst idea.
No, if it was in the first chest, it would not surprise me to have seen Mystik just bail out and go to Aga immediately.
Oh, 100%, I think.
Mystik forgetting to get the key, going up to grab it now. Might just be a little flustered by the lack of completion of Dark Aga there. So Monkey, done with the Eastern Pod play. Where are we going, man?
Ice.
I
think
yep.
One last shot at that hook shot and maybe getting that Lamp before Aga. Though this is his, third to last crystal dungeon as well, so I guess Skullwoods. Or is Skullwoods a pennant?
Skullwoods a pennant? It's Swamp, Ice, and Turtle Rock left. And with Kane, ice is free, so. Mystik giving us the oh so fun vanilla left side go. Might be the most feels bad thing to do in all of Rando, in my opinion.
Yeah, this is one of those checks that I've seen people forget that you can do both chests on left-sided swamp without the hook shot because you don't want to. Forgetting that in the vanilla game you need to do left side swamp to get the hook shot.
Wait, there's a vanilla game?
I've been told.
I may have to look into that. Probably help me with my game here.
Really heads up Samaria block from Mystik to send that fire snake packing. That fire snake has messed up many a diver down attempt.
Yeah, I think at this point that's the only job the fire snake has, because people have avoided it for other reasons for so long that now it's just happy it has an opportunity to smack someone while they're trying to place a bomb.
Monkey remembering that he does not have the hook shot and will need to check the big chest this way.
So far, nothing great out of ice yet. Hoping to see a hook shot here, I gotta say.
There's our lamp. And at this point, in for a penny, in for a pound with left side swamp.
Hey, you're already over here. You might as well. And Dark Diplomat pointing out that the key for left side was not grabbed, but I think it had to be, didn't it? You can't get the key on the right side without the hook shot, so it had to have gotten that key out. And just bombs. So no hook shot left side swamp, so potentially McMonkey is making the better play here for the hook shot.
Yeah, I think this is with no hook shot on left side swamp and Mystik finding in short order the fire rod and checkerboard here. I think Mystik's probably going to realize that they're not in a great spot.
Yeah,
What a bad spot they could potentially be in.
Yeah, at this point, the hook shot could be pretty much anywhere except for the back of the swamp.
Darn, I was not paying attention to the Ice Palace layout.
I wasn't either.
Did anybody? So the key layout of Ice Palace, the hook shot could be in Pyramid Fairy. Now
we know it's not Cane Lock. That's all I know based on what I've seen in it.
I expect that to be a last location at this point. Well, maybe not, actually.
Right for McMonkey makes a lot of sense here.
Yeah, I think checking Pyramid Fairy into Ega makes as much sense as doing Ega and then doing Pyramid Fairy with that portal. So, yeah, I think that's what we'll see him do here.
Now, where he's going to be opening the portal anyway, do we think he goes down to Swamp just to get his lamp to make his life a little bit easier?
No, absolutely not. You know, it could be anywhere left side swamp. He's got the fire rod and half magic. Without half magic, the fire rod can be a little dicey if you're not super comfortable with your setups, and I know a lot of us aren't, because it's not something we have to do very often. But yeah, Bombos is on Lumberjack to answer.
Yeah, Bombos is on Lumberjack, and Bombos is TR.
So, I think
Now, the real shame will be if we pull Ether out of Pyramid Fairy. And Fire Rod was in the checkerboard cave. The answer quoted there in chat.
So if you're McMonkey, how are you feeling right now about how the seed's been going?
I'm feeling like I've been walking on a rope and I'm behind.
Really? Yeah, I think I'd feel all right if I'm McMonkey. Not like he guns straight toward all the progression, but this isn't the kind of seed where anybody is going to dog route it, right?
No.
So I think
there's always that question of if you follow it immediately, could you
McMonkey, what are you? Is he doing Hera before betting on TR? I don't know why you don't just do Ega while you're there. You have to at this point, unless he forgot what was on Lumberjack.
Yeah, it surprises me that he's not. I guess if you're going to do this, why not do it before Eastern and Pod?
Yeah.
Because if you're going into Hera, you should be committing also to the Green Pendant itself. And then you have the Fire Rod. You didn't go down the swamp when you had the opportunity right there, a screen away when you went to go get the Pyramid Fairy item. This does not make much sense.
Also be... Okay, never mind. I was going to say this could also be a case of, like, he's like, okay, now I can get my Bombos, and just pretends he has it.
And to answer the question, chat, yes, both runners did check the Lumberjack Ledge and saw Bombos.
Yeah, so I might take it back. Maybe McMonkey feels a little behind now. Or maybe he feels so ahead. Yeah, I can't see that, though.
No, I don't see that.
I don't know why you go up here again. Like, check it on your way to TR, sure, if you feel like it, but...
Yeah, the timing of it is suspect to me. Just based on Eastern Pod, you had to go there anyway. This is your Green Pendant. Your perfect time to do it is before that. Hello, Bugnut.
I think the most likely thing is that he just forgot logical mountain access and thinks his lamp could be here. I think that is the most likely explanation. But I don't know why you get your lamp here if it's here.
Either that or a serious, maybe the hookshot is hanging out in here and I won't have to deal with swamp again. I'll just go get my lamp, finish that, do Aga, go to TR, and finish it. But it's a long run for a potential out-of-logic hookshot gamble.
Yeah. So it begs the question of whether the reason he didn't do Hera earlier was because of the possibility of something in basement. I don't know. Yeah, I think you come back for whatever's in basement when you come back up the mountain if you're still looking for stuff.
And so we saw a compass, we saw a bug net, and we saw...
I think we must have gotten the first item in the first dip.
We have no key. We have no key, so that's got to be in the basement.
And to respond to chat, yes, I'm aware the flute was on the tablet, but when you're running, you can forget these things and forget what your logical mountain access is. Somehow Pendant Hera seems like a better choice than going into swamp. I don't know.
It's a perfect choice if he pulls the hookshot off of Saha right now, and he does not.
Yeah, I wouldn't have imagined that we would.
No, so now will we see the swamp play, or is he going to go ahead and give us a dark aggro? Or is he going to go to the village? I guess he's doing Mothula. Maybe giving us a ped check while he does so. At this point, yeah, Mothula and ped. He has the other two. No, he doesn't have Meyer. He does not have Meyer. So maybe he's doing Mothula and ped. Get that information.
Mirroring.
Ped? Monkey, are you okay?
Yeah, I think he forgot what was on Lumberjack. Yes, I think that's absolutely what happened. Or
Possible. It's unfortunate if he did. Entirely possible. But he is making the right play going into Swamp here.
yeah, so if he wants his lamp for Ega, he's finally realizing where it has to be, but this has allowed Mystik to make up a lot of that ground that was gained by McMonkey here.
Yeah, virtually completely made up at this point. I mean, just a couple Go Mode Eastern pod behind. Wouldn't surprise me to see Mystik go ahead and do the same thing in grabbing the green pendant from Hera before doing those, but also wouldn't surprise me to just see him say, no, I'm one item away. I'm just chasing crystals at this point.
I think if you skipped it and you have your lamp, I think you're chilling here. I think it's possible that we see it on the way to TR, just in case. But yeah.
Well, after they kill Aga, they can't save a portal, correct?
Correct.
So yeah, Hera before TR would make sense in that regard if you're banking on Hookshot being there, but you already have everything you need to do at TR in full, so
yeah,
it would surprise you to see it at that point. Because at that point, you're banking on that just to give you really the time save on the
just
little firelight side on the right. So Monkey's play here into the front of Swamp probably going to take about as long as Mystik's plays here through Pod and Eastern, which will put them pretty much on even ground going towards Aga. If McMonkey can remember that Mombos was on Lumberjack and he needs to go to Aga.
Well, I mean, he is going to have it be a last location pretty soon.
Well, after Swamp, he has Mothula, which he should still know is out of logic. Because once he gets to that,
it won't. Yeah.
So he might go do Mothula first.
But I think going to left side Swamp and bailing on Moth, going to Hookless Swamp over Moth, I think is definitely him remembering Lumberjack. I think that is what gave me that impression that he realized what was going on.
Yeah, and he did give a few of those patented raid slashes that we see so many runners called out for. So perhaps that's exactly what he was thinking was, whoops, I forgot, and now I got to go do left side. Of course, you're hoping it's in Bomb Wall, but we know it's left side.
Yep.
So while McMonkey goes ahead and pops through and gets his lamp on the left side, and Mystik goes and kills him an old dinosaur, be sure to give our runners here a follow. They've been putting on a very interesting display of what is this seed for us. !R in the chat will give us that command to follow them. If you feel so inclined as to give a follow to anybody on the Restream team here, the !C may be a little off. Not quite certain. We did have some jumbling and jumping around initially to get this thing actually kicked off and running. So we have Days Cloud giving us a restream. He was initially going to be commentating with me. We were both going to make fun of our teammates the entire time. That wound up being something completely different. So he's on the restream. Dark Diplomat's giving us our button presses. And Vortex was kind enough to jump in and assist me here with the commentary on a literal moment's notice. Volunteering without even having to be asked.
McMonkey is still in Swamp for some reason.
Getting the bombs, I think, out of the... No, he just got the bombs out of it. So what is he doing? Yeah. McMonkey, what you doing? Unless he didn't go to the south loop? That's what it is.
I believe he did, but I think he thinks he might not have. Okay, maybe he didn't, I guess.
I just go on autopilot when people go in the swamp and assume that this room is getting done before left side. So,
well, unless you have the hook shot and know you're full clearing, like I tend to do left side first because you have to go in the top and come out the bottom anyway. So might as well make it a little more efficient. But yeah, McMonkey got his lamp. I think he is. Yeah, he knows he has to do Aga.
It's Aga time. But once we're finished here on the eastern side for Mystik, I'm pretty sure we're seeing a flute to 4 for Aga there too. So this is a much closer race than it started out being with regards to how they both chose to route to this point.
Yeah, and evidently McMonkey was just not comfortable with. Well, either he wasn't comfortable with lamp only Aga, or he was like, well, I know lamp's left side. If hookshot is also in swamp, like, you know, then I'm just done, right? Which is an understandable play, but I don't know why he. Yeah, I still don't get the play personally. But
no, I like the ice play because again, if you get a hookshot there, you can go do swamp in one go, grab your lamp, grab Aga, go do TR, be done. But a couple other decisions, the Hera play after doing the Eastern Pod piece, it just seemed like almost too much grasping at that point, like hoping for something that would be unexpected to get him that little bit of an edge when just continued doing exactly what he was doing, and he didn't know he was ahead, but we did.
Yeah. And it goes to show that like it's really hard to get a sense of when you're actually ahead or behind, because like McMonkey made basically every correct decision a runner could have been expected to make this season. I think it was. I don't think you could reasonably have expected a runner to route early, better than Monkey did.
No.
In the sequence break up the mountain, finding flute, only then starting to clean up the stuff that your logical mountain access would be, because you have to do it. Everything was, he comboed things efficiently, but he clearly felt behind, and like he needed to, he was making some key decisions, which we've seen him do before.
And Mystik giving us a nice bomb dupe there while we were discussing the piece of information on McMonkey's routing. Doing the same pyramid fairy into Aga play that we saw from McMonkey, which we thought we were going to see from McMonkey, rather, as he decided not to give us the Aga play. So
giving us just a couple minute climb behind at this point. Also down a Hera, but I don't expect to see Mystik check Hera before TR at this point with Ace Rod already.
Yeah, once they get Bombos, they know they can full clear TR. It would shock me if either of them went anywhere but there directly after getting Bombos.
Yeah, I think the only unfortunate thing for Days Cloud here would be if we found Ether in TR and not Hookshot, because I expect we'd see a Heracles before heading to Myre. Maybe not, actually. Like, if you could make an argument, but since you're up on the mountain already, there would be a risk of that, and we know, I think at this rate that Hookshot's not in there. I think we saw everything in here.
Yeah, we had to.
The small key is locked in the basement.
Yeah, for sure. Unless Monkey skipped a chest, which I strongly doubt. Alright, so Aga down for McMonkey. We're getting that fun little boomerang play on the key from Mystik. Monkey now. Mirror, Probably a saving quit to sank, or a flute to 3.
I think flute
Not
to
sure which
8
is
is
faster.
my guess. No, 3. 8 is actually about 10 seconds. Fluting to cack and saving and quitting to sank are about on par with each other, with a quick swap to mirror and sank. Fluting to 8 is actually, at least by my timing, about 10 seconds faster, which you wouldn't think it would be. If you flute to 8 and go straight up into that whirlpool, you end up just 2 screens south. But it's less than a minute, regardless of how you do it.
But with the way this race is turning out, that could be a determining amount of time.
Yeah, if Mystik wants to make up a little time, that's not a way I see a lot of runners go. If they're grabbing something off Lumberjack.
No, I think the general
Good knowledge
thought
if you have it.
is either 3 or save and quit. Now, Mystik in their Aga fight, Monkey, knowing no hook shot, going a long way yet again up the mountain. And that's the other thing that makes that hero play a little more painful, is you're always having to take this long route around the top of the mountain.
Yeah, an extra mountain climb. It's not the slowest mountain climb, with boots and spin speed, but yeah, I think if you're gonna make the hero play, well, I guess if you wanted to do it and be certain about green pendant, I guess you're committing to an extra mountain climb either way. So
now, the ironic thing will be if hookshot is on Moth, because McMonkey was heading that way and stopped.
That's true.
Because at this point, the only place hookshot can't be is in the back of Swamp and Guinness Tower.
Yeah. Pending ether, depending on where ether is, it could also not be in Mire. Or it's possible that it also could not be in Mire, but we don't know that until.
So now we're getting that Turtle Rock open. And Mystik, not far behind at all, going to go and. Well, they're going to save and quit as they fluted over the 1. Do that. I'm watching the wrong stream. Sorry, I'm talking behind things.
Yeah, I think.
Not watching it.
Yeah, they.
My brain's
forgot that they had not picked it up yet.
Yep.
Save
Which
and quit.
is easy to do when you've done as much as they've done to this point in trying to get there, just as they have.
Honestly, right now, it looks like a significant portion of the difference in times was that. Are we seeing a ped check here?
I think we are. I don't think it's a bad play based on the fact that we don't know where hookshot is and they're in the area anyway. McMonkey did forget to go the right way here and is going to do the long way again to get his fire thrown and opened up that door. So Pet is now dead. That at least is good knowledge to have.
But yeah, a significant portion of the difference before that ped check, which the gap has widened a bit, was I think that Dark Aga without Fire Rod attempt from Mystik definitely
Absolutely.
caused a significant portion of the gap. Yeah. And at the time, it seemed pretty inconsequential. But McMonkey has made given up a lot of time.
Yeah, he's made a lot of gambles that have just not paid off in an effort to try to conserve that little bit of time with not double dipping Swamp. And so far, TR has been very kind to us, giving us only keys, as we have had big key and other keys. So fact that we have
This is
to full clear it, hoping for.
Yeah, a god TR. 3 small keys in the front. If you steal the key, you're guaranteed to be able to do it. If you don't steal the key, you might still be able to skip the big chest and laser bridge. It's possible, but unfortunately, we have to full clear.
So, do we get an item of worth out of this chest that we never want to open? Nope. See Leoria and Corvid both pulling for the old Kazen Cave or Mimic Cave.
Yeah, that's another place. If it's in Mimic Cave, there are 2 schools of thought as to whether to open Mimic Cave first or the TR Big Chest first, because you have to go through the TR Big Chest room if you're opening all the chests, just to make sure you get the keys. And if it's in the big chest, then you just keep going. You don't have to check Mimic Cave at all. But...
Yeah, I like the Mimic Cave check if you're still looking for silvers also, because you may get them there. So if you get your go mode, great, and you're going to hit the big chest because you're going by it anyway. If you're only looking for one item, though, I tend to like to just pop in and check that big chest first, because saving those 2 mirror portals is nice.
Yeah, I tend to route like it'll be neither place. So the most efficient way is to check Mimic Cave first, and then big chest. So...
Big chest pan out with the map that I think we might need, because I don't know if these guys know how to route Turtle Rock. That map probably the most I think they're going to find today.
Eminently skippable big chest Mimic Cave combo.
Absolutely. So yeah, we do have a need for laser bridge regardless, so that doesn't make this feel as bad. Ether can't be in Meyer as Ether is Meyer's medallion, so we could see Ether though on laser bridge with hookshot.
I think Corvid was saying we find Ether and hookshot
Yeah,
Meyer.
I think that's what he was saying, and just the way it was written, I read it differently. Of course, Corvid's also the one that always wishes for a mirror on the Smiths, so he might be a little bit on the evil side.
Monkey opting to take a little lag, and wow, this is some... Okay. There is the cape.
So we have Trinex and
Mothula.
Skullwoods.
Yeah. I think... I can't remember what all we found in Skullwoods. I think we got one item. I can't remember if we got map and compass as well, but I think that the items most likely our next progression, hopefully hookshot, is either on Trinex or Moth.
If it's on Moth, that likely puts more of a gap between Monkey and Mystik, because I don't see Mystik leaving this mountain without Hera.
Yeah, at this point with Green Pendant, especially since Mystik did not touch Hera, I think it's just too juicy. But we'll find out shortly.
Yet another mountain climb would be horrendous for that. So.
Oh, okay. So Skullwoods has the item. McMonkey was a hair's width away from actually getting access to his hookshot and spurned it to go to Hookless Swamp.
He's going to feel bad when he sees that be the case.
Well, he knows it's the case at this point. He has literally no checks left other than Skullwoods at this point. He has cleared up all loose ends.
He could get Ether out of there, though, and have to go to Mire, which would make it feel a little less bad.
Yeah, because, if he gets Ether out of Skullwoods, do you think he goes to Mire, or do you think he, goes to Hookless Swamp where he knows the lamp is and hopes Hookshot's not in Mire?
I think at that point he goes and does Swamp just because how long do you want to change that particular tail? We did see Bumper Legend. It was an item of no consequence.
Both runners check Bumper Ledge very early.
Dave's making sure to point out that he had nothing to do with pulling the seed. I believe him, but we can still blame him anyway because he decided to, be awesome and put together the actual stream itself on a moment's notice. So it's Dave's fault. That and,
either knows that he has like a map or compass left, in addition to that big key, or we haven't gotten a menu. So fun fact, if you get both map, compass, and an item, Moth will have your second item 100% of the time. It can't lead to a small key. Moth can't.
But Moth can have the big key though, right?
Moth can have a big key leading to either a map, compass, or an item, but not leading to a small key.
Interesting.
Because if you
lock yourself out.
Yep. If you use all the keys in the worst possible way in Skullwoods, in any way other than a sane person would.
Very similar to Thief.
Yep. And yeah, so there was a possibility. So it looks like this is a real Oops All Dungeon seed.
Well, we hope not, because we want to see the hookshot off of Moth here.
Well, Moth.
I want to go back in time and have a hookshot on Moth. Leave me alone.
Similarly, actually, as a note about that Moth key logic, it's one reason why Moth can never lead to the Moon Pearl in cross keys, because in entrance rando there's always a vanilla small key in Skullwoods, so there's always one locked by the Moon Pearl. And McMonkey has to be fuming that he just about checked this and decided to bail, especially if it is directly the hookshot.
And
it is.
Okay, so at least we don't have an Oops All Dungeons. So McMonkey is in go mode at 138.20 something and feeling terrible about it as he is trying to slash down the entirety of Skullwoods.
And yeah, we're seeing that consequence of back of Skullwoods coming to bite Mystik. Well, it was really hard to check that early, because there's one item in back of Skullwoods. And,
one item in the back, and at the time that they got the fire, knew where the lamp was and what the actual logical progression of the seed wanted to do.
Well, and what else that fire rod unlocked? It unlocked. Well, it didn't logically unlock TR, but with the fire rod unlocked, that meant TR was clearable. That meant ice was clearable, and you're never gonna bet one item in back of Skullwoods for that first.
No, as we saw McMonkey think about doing and then bail on.
Yeah.
So we are seeing the hero play from Mystik, losing that little bit of time for what we know is going to turn into nothing. McMonkey is going to go make quick work of the back of Swamp here. Wouldn't surprise me to see him just check the chest along the way for potentially getting silvers, but also wouldn't surprise me at all if he just leaves it all alone. As
It would
we're an hour and
surprise
30
me
minutes in on
because
casual boots.
I think he has silvers, so I would be shocked to see him open the chest.
He has so. Okay, so I'm apparently bad at this today. Where did they get silvers?
I don't recall, but they do have them.
Silvers when I
Silver-
tracker. Okay. Yeah, I'll be shocked if McMonkey opens a single chest going forward. I thought they didn't have silvers because, I apparently don't look at the trackers. Sorry, Doc. Mystik taking a fall to Moldorm, knocking a little bit of time off there. Now done.
And McMonkey muscle memorying those chests because you do one in real life. There is nothing you could want in any of the chests remaining before Ganon's Tower.
No, the literal only upgrade they get at this point would be red mail, and with that many hearts and blue, I don't think either of these runners are worried about getting red mail. And yes, I looked at the tracker to make sure they had blue before I said that one. Don't worry.
But yeah, at 17 hearts, at 17 hearts with go mode, you made how many mountain climbs that weren't necessary?
Far too many.
You're feeling behind at this point. McMonkey is trying to shave what I'm sure he's thinking are precious seconds from the and there's our red mail. So
the red mail. So we have everything we want.
Yeah. So
everything we possibly want.
I don't think we have the blue boomerang, which for me
means that
is a necessity to routing Ganon's Tower.
100% agreed.
With that, McMonkey is our first of 7 crystals, and we have a game that our tracker has wonderfully started for us. Guess a number between 1 and 22 out of the 22 chests in Ganon's Tower basement that can have the big key. The winner of this game will win very little of consequence, but admiration.
Internet points are bragging points.
Yes, this is true.
Yeah, we got to bragging
points of much consequence, though.
It depends on who you are, I suppose. You really just want to make fun of the people on the restream team that actually win it most of the time. And to answer the question in chat, yes, either can absolutely be in GT at this point.
I believe it is in GT at this point.
I can't think of anywhere else that it could be. Because we know it can't be in Mire because everything's accessible. So it would have to be GT.
Yeah, it is in GT.
Actually, it could be in Hookshot Cave.
That's true. Could be
we have
Hookshot
just in Hookshot Cave that we did not see, and that's probably the only thing we're not going to see this seed. Which
and unfortunately, Mystik made.
God.
Mystik making the obvious choice to go to Moth instead of just bailing, checking the big chest first. But
yep. And in hindsight, if that ether was in Hookshot Cave, both of these runners would be very happy to know that they failed hovering.
Yeah, because before we were in Hookshot for
well, they were in the Mire area with checkerboard before they got the fire rod. They might have been tempted to just go into Mire to check for it.
This is true.
Yeah, I don't see a world where they don't check checkerboard first, but it is possible. So Monkey making his way into the DM room.
Small key.
And
There's our big key. And he doesn't need to open that fourth chest because red mail, silvers, butter sword, half magic, powder, nothing he could want.
he's likely leaving his lag shield behind at this point.
Yeah.
So key number 4. So homemade beer is our winner of the Ganis Tower Big Key guessing game, and looks like they were the only one to guess it. So they got all the points, and no one got any bonuses. So congratulations, homemade beer, on your 16 points. So with that key being where it is, it's definitely going to be some execution failure on Monkey's part in order to lose this race.
Yeah, Mystik has a whole swamp, a mountain climb, and then GT at this rate. It's mostly little inefficiencies. If Mystik hadn't tried the Dark Aga and had to, the bulk of that time was actually spent getting to the castle twice. The extra, well, I guess Mystik didn't have an extra trip up the mountain like McMonkey did, but by the time it was done with, they were done with TR, there was the obvious next play for item density.
Absolutely, and again, you don't want a chance making that extra mountain trip, and that's your only item left there. You want that mountain empty by the time you leave there at that point.
Yeah,
both of these runners made a lot of choice each time. It just happened to be that McMonkey's plays worked out that little bit better for him throughout the entirety of it.
With, I think, the exception of McMonkey's hero play. I still don't see logic in that one.
We're going to ignore McMonkey's hero play until he gets in here, relentlessly rib him for it while he's here. Until then, we are going to pretend like my teammate did a perfect job. Even though he clearly did not.
He did, however, have a very clean gauntlet. Doesn't quite stick the landing on Wizrobes too, but you can't win them all like this. But yeah, clean gauntlet. Still has 7 whole hearts left, which for the last couple of rooms before the refill will be good enough for McMonkey, I am sure.
Absolutely. Especially having powder to get the refill. No reason to worry about it. He does have bottles. I don't think he has goo left, though.
Yeah, I am not sure. I saw him quick swapping through. I'm not sure what is in there. And Mystik knows already that there is nothing in those.
Not letting muscle memory take over. Monkey getting his refill, getting his magic refill. I'm gonna go probably fall to Moldorm with the way this has gone so far, but let's hope not. And then go fight Aga.
Great, you nearly jinxed it. That was very close early. But,
Moldorm gets to keep his last possessions. So if by some odd turn of events McMonkey dies here at Aga 2, he will have to refight Moldorm because that chest will despawn.
Yeah. I certainly open it for that reason, and not at all for the memes, but yeah.
I would say I open it for the memes, but I 100% open it because Aga 2 might kill me. And unlike my teammates, I am not capable of even dreaming of hovering, so, no. Nice triple there for a start.
Yeah.
And it's set up for another one, potentially. Nope, we got a blue ball. A blue ball that turns a potential triple into a 0. Twice.
Can still clutch the 4 cycle here with another triple.
Nope.
No such luck.
Okay. He has gotten great patterns and terrible blue balls, but, a 6 cycle isn't awful, provided he lands one here. Alright, he got... Okay, so the first triple didn't count?
Must have been a double, yeah.
Must have had
But-
2 hit at once.
7 cycles is, better than 8, as they say.
Absolutely.
Somewhere, I presume.
I'll take 7 over 8. I'll take 6 over 7, though.
But yeah, McMonkey puffing up his bonk count as he drops into his Ganon fight momentarily.
And as Otaku Tom was counting, thinking the same way we were of the first being a triple, but clearly, even though it looked as though all 3 hit at different times, 2 had to have counted in the same frame and given us 1 out of that instead. So now, McMonkey skewering a pig while Mystik is making the run over to GT. I really can't see a world where McMonkey falls to Ganon, so I'm going to be very happy to see him win. This isn't at all prior to the end of this.
Both runners, though, have played a great race. They made a lot of very reasonable decisions. And yeah, no, it's been well played. This is relatively close, all things considered. Being in GT before your opponent finishes is a close race, in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, and there's our blue boomer. So, unfortunately, Mystik not going left after that, but Monkey taking down Ganon.
Taking down Ganon, getting new Hyrule Order, a much wanted 3 points, putting us on par now with spoiled leftovers at 12.
He crosses with an official racetime.gg time of 1:52:10. So get your GGs in chat from McMonkey.
And so Mystik is in our compass room. Hopefully we'll mirror out directly after getting the key past here and go to DM room to get their big key. Don't really want to see them go the full right side here and extend their time in here any more than they have to at this point. And
we are joined
we have McMonkey.
by
Hey guys.
So how about that Skull Woods there, pal?
Yeah, I got halfway there and was thinking through and the silliness of having gone to Hera. I was thinking, I'll leave Swamp Palace for last. I really don't want to go in there. But I knew that Swamp Palace had my lamp. So as I had done Hera sort of just by rote, there was some thinking that I could pull Pet after doing Skull Woods. Got halfway to Skull Woods and realized, wait, I've only got 1 pendant, not 2. So there's another counting error. Then decided, well, there's only 1 item in Skull Woods. I'll just go to Swamp instead. Turns out that would have saved me a bunch of time. But I had no business winning this seed. This was not my sharpest night.
Yeah, both of us were convinced that you were going to do Dark Agate after turning into Mid-Fairy. Is there any thought of trying that with the Fire Rod and Half Magic?
I thought about it, but there were so few places that Lamp could be, having thought through the logic. At that point, I think by the time I got to Pyramid Fairy, I knew that the Lamp had to be in Swamp Palace.
Yeah. Yes. I think as soon as you got... I think the only loose ends for you were Magic Bat, Hammer Pegs, Sick Kid were all in logic. And then it had to be Swamp.
Yeah, so I knew it
was.
would be accessible, and I've never done Dark Aga. I'm confident I could do it, but I figured if I'm looking for hookshot anyway, I might as well pick up Lamp along the way and save myself some time in Dark Aga.
Turned out to be the right play for you there, which was good. Now, can you explain the Hera play after Eastern and Pod for me? Because I'm confused.
Yeah, I miscounted. I thought I had another pendant already. So then I was thinking I'll do Hera, Skullwoods into pulling the ped before going to Swamp Palace.
Okay, so the green pendant into Eastern Pod was never in your mind to play at all. It was just potential ped, and that's why you went up.
Yeah. I was gonna clean up Eastern and Pod. It probably would have made more sense if I was going to do that whole route to do Hera before Eastern and Pod, or actually count properly and not do either.
Like, if you're thinking Hera for the ped's sake, after Eastern and Pod, that makes sense. I was sitting there going, if you're going to go to Eastern Pod and then go to Hera, why not flip it and turn in your green pen? Which, fortunately, turned into nothing anyway. And the thing is, both of you were doing basically the same things with regard to that, just in different orders.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, certainly a lot of room to clean up execution. I'm going to blame daylight savings time. Did you know that this is this and the spring daylight savings time Monday have the highest incidence of traffic accidents in the country?
And in
I
random,
did know that.
Also has the highest incidences of making randomizer mistakes.
fair enough.
Well, GG's all the same. There was a lot of good play in there to go with the aforementioned mistakes, and it was enough to pull out the win. So GG's on that.
Yeah, I was shocked. I didn't think I had a shot here. By the time I dropped again, hey, there's actually a chance here. My heart rate just spiked immediately. I think it might have been even during Aga 2 where suddenly I was like, wait a minute, there's a chance here, and I got just a bolt of adrenaline.
Yeah, I think this hook shot was nearly guaranteed to be last located, as both of you displayed. Like you're going, whether you find the fire rod in logic or not. You know that logical access to the fire rod gives you logical access to all of Turtle Rock, all of Ice Palace, and you're probably going to have dipped, as both of you did, in front of Skullwoods for one item in your search for the hammer early. So all of the other the crystal dungeons you can full clear are just going to seem way better options than one item in the pendant Skullwoods.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's fair. And by the way, that hammer, I mean the bombos on Lumberjack being required for TR and the hook shot and all of that sort of just buried the lead of that. That's a terrible hammer placement too.
Absolutely, especially when you needed the flippers to get over there.
Yeah, we were pretty sure you guys were going to find that lamp as your logical way to Eastern Dark World, but then you found the flippers. That put that to rest.
Yeah, and I think that I got lucky in a couple spots picking up. I don't know if Mystik finished Thieves Town the first time through. I just kind of gambled on not having the hammer and not. I was okay with orphaning an item there, knowing that it wasn't going to be the hammer.
Yeah, Mystik did indeed double dip in Thieves Town.
Yeah, Mystik didn't do it at first, but still did it without the hammer before committing to the long walk over to Catfish and the Zora checks. They also attempted a fake flipper early. To pause for a moment, Mystik is making quick work of Ganon here in Phase 3. So we'll be finishing this up shortly.
And Mystik did find Ether hanging out in Moldorm's chest there, so that was fun.
Oh, good.
And also, McMonkey, you had 70 bunks.
I noticed. I was padding the count a bit.
Oh, we saw and appreciated. So Mystik with silvers, Ganon there. Might get a triple before. Nope. Okay. No triple before the lamp. 2 doubles. Gonna end this out. Just has that bridged across, which won't be a problem. We'll wrap this up just over 2 hours. Which
get your GGs in chat for Mystik.
So 2 hours being what it is for the seed, not all that bad. Where at what point did you feel like you were probably going to lose time-wise, Monkey?
When I was at an hour 30 and still not in go mode and just going into TR, hoping the hook shot was there, but it felt bad at that point for sure. The hammer didn't feel too bad. I mean, it was a terrible location, but I figured it's a place that everybody's going to lap location that. But I felt like I probably could have been more efficient in getting to Turtle Rock looking for that hook shot. So it was about entering TR that I felt that my chances of winning were going down.
That's reasonable.
We are joined by Mystik as well. GG.
GG, Mystik.
GG
Mike-
helps if I unmute.
Yeah, mute does stop you from talking. GG's.
A little
Well
bit.
played.
Just a little bit. Yeah, thanks.
Initial thoughts on the seed?
I don't know what was worse, the seed or my play. That was pretty bad.
I think the
Yeah.
seed absolutely was worse.
Yeah, the seed was absolutely the curse there for both of you in this one.
Yeah, I had some interesting routing decisions, but I've been doing less of the hammer gamble for Thieves Town, and I think today it hurt me more than anything because it was just a waste of a double dip that I ended up doing without the hammer anyways.
Yeah, it made sense to go back and do it when you did, and it was moderately efficient, since you had to commit to that portal to get over to Dark World to combo Catfish and the Zora stuff. But yeah, McMonkey did gamble that early, and I couldn't blame you for not gambling 3 items in mode, and none of the Dark World done yet.
Yeah, I knew what kind of seed I was going to have when I died fake flippering. I got stuck on the stupid wall.
Oh no.
Yeah, that was an unfortunate moment there. So
Yeah,
with,
with those flippers, we were feeling extra bad about it because I was like, oh well, progression's probably there too, but no, it was just pod. French vanilla ham.
Yeah, and part of me when I went to go, I was like, right before TR, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go check PED just because then it tells me if I have to search TR for the hookshot or if I can just go mode it. Why not? I'm right here, grabbing bombos anyways. Part of me was like, man, I should really just dip into Skull Woods real fast.
Yeah, that it would have been quite a play.
This seed was so presented with so many difficult decisions along the way where the logical route then suddenly leaves you with a bunch of disparate checks that felt bad at multiple occasions.
Definitely. And I always hate the decision of do I run over to Saha Eastern or do I just go and go to Dark World?
Yeah, those early flippers could have made a difference. Could have found that hammer on the first loop instead of doubling around, possibly. But what was your thinking on the Dark Aga play? At the time, we had known where the fire rod was, and we knew that you wouldn't be getting pulled back there very quickly because you didn't have the fire source to get into desert or to finish desert because you'd already dipped it, and McMonkey hadn't, so had a little more pull to get over.
So I kind of had to figure at that point, okay, I know where the lamp is. I've done Dark Aga plenty of times in practice. So I was like, you know what, let's just go for it. If I can skip that a little bit, then I can do the rest of the seed without the lamp, and I'm sure Fire Rat will turn up at some point. And I got hit by 2 of the guards in the dark room and just completely lost where I was. But so
yeah,
it kind of sucked.
That'll happen. Those aren't dark rooms that I have practiced very much. Never without the fire rod. So like even attempting it, you got pretty far in the maze, but
yeah, the maze makes or breaks that play every time. It was I felt terribly behind at that point because I was like, man, I really should have sequence broke Death Mountain sooner and stuff like that. So it was you know, when you're like an hour and 10 minutes in and you've got 1, maybe 2 dungeons done and you're still looking for a bunch of stuff, you don't feel very good.
No, and just the fact that you don't know that your opponent is literally in the exact same position, just about 3 minutes difference at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I certainly had no idea that it was close, or that I had any shot once we got past the hour and 20-minute mark.
Yeah, my routing's usually the death of me. But I don't think I left anything unturned except for Meyer in most of in GT. So
Yeah, no, there was nothing left but Meyer and GT for in Hookshot Cave. There were 3 chests in Hookshot Cave that you guys both tried to hover to that you didn't grab.
And yeah, of course, when you try to hover Hookshot Cave, it guarantees that you will have Hookshot going.
Yep.
So
yeah, that's the unwritten rule of Rando right there.
Or that there'll be progression in Hookshot Cave, one or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you try and fail, there will be progression, and when you succeed, it'll be Hookshot Go mode. I don't know. There's something there.
It's funny as I did it offline before I set everything up for the race. But it is what it is.
Yeah,
I'm not consistent at it, but it's always it's always worth a shot.
I agree.
So looking forward to the next couple of weeks after the SGL thing next week when we all get our bye. Is there any particular race that either of you are looking forward to more than another in the formats that we have coming up?
I'm looking forward to Spoiler Week, and then I'm always down for Enemizer, so I'm really looking forward to Week 7.
Yeah, I think I'd have to agree that the spoiler pilot co-op is just such an interesting format, and I really enjoyed the co-op in week 1. So even aside from liking Enemizer, just having your teammate with you in those 2 weeks, I think is what really distinguishes the league from other tournaments.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the weeks that I'm looking forward to too. But this, gosh, I should really have records pulled up at this point. I'm sure Penguin knows your guys' record at this point.
Well,
yes, so we're tied exiting this match.
Yes, because the other match is going on right now, we may not be tied. Well, we won't be tied, actually, after that one. But
well, we may not. There are contingencies for ties in the league.
That's fair. But just looking at it, I doubt we'll be tied. So both our teams are at 12 points, sitting at 4-1 presently. I believe that currently is the top of the Eastern Division.
Yeah, this was the battle of the top 2 this week, I believe.
Yeah, I think regardless of the outcome, we'll exit the week as the top 2 teams in the division, which should feel good for both teams, I think.
Yeah, it does.
It'll be better if we're in first, but it's fine.
But yeah, I think that will just about do it for this this race. Be sure to give both our runners a follow. Give our restreamer Days Cloud a follow. Give him a couple follows if you can, because I mean, like, he put this.
So with this
Dazed. At least one of us came through tonight.
So with this wrapped up, we are going to go ahead and send you guys over to Speed Gaming 2, where we have Fear Agent versus Frostbite in the Invitational League. So we hope that you guys will enjoy that. As you can see on the screen, we have the schedule of races for both the Invitational and the Open League that are going on over the course of the next couple of days or hours, depending upon how long we decided the list is. So you can go there and take a look at any of the races you may be interested in. And right now, we are going to go ahead and send you over to Speed Gaming 2. So, Vortex, do you have anything else you want to say before we send these guys over?
Nope. I think that'll be all. But yeah, GG's again, and we'll catch you all next time.
GG's again.
GG and good night.
Good night.